Due to the nature of this discussion, this entire episode cannot be shown here on YouTube. It's available free on Rockfin and all podcast platforms. The transhuman agenda, what is first of all, the basis and the history behind this, and what is the end game? What is the kind of human that they are trying to create here?
Well, basically, the whole term transhumanism was the original term transhumanism was coined by Julian Huxley, right? He's the first one that called it transhumanism. Now, the idea of transhumanism definitely predates Huxley. This goes all the way back into the ancient mystery schools once again. And philosophers like Nietzsche back in the 1800s were talking about what he called the concept of the Ubermensch or the Superman, right? This is talking about the next level of evolution for the human being, stepping up into a new state, transhumanism. Well, this is also talked about way back in the ancient mystery schools, right? It's all about apotheosis or enlightenment or, becoming God, so to say. And that's what a lot of these ancient adepts and stuff talked about. And many of the ideas go way, way back to the ideas that were brought about by the eugenics movement. Okay, and a lot of this could be traced back all the way to Plato in Plato's Republic. He spoke of eugenics, but he didn't use the term eugenics. But it was about, people selectively breeding to bring about the best traits in humanity. Plato spoke about this thousands of years ago, right? So the idea goes way, way back. But eugenics was largely captured upon during that time frame in the mid to late 1800s when much of the modern conspiracy has rolled out. And a lot of these ideas are based upon eugenics ideas, okay? And it always invariably ties back to the occult with these eugenics ideas because if you look at the writings of the Rosicrucians and stuff like that, they always talk about all these root race groups, right? And it's all about race. And we see that reflected even in World War II Germany with a lot of the ideologies that were adopted by the Nazis. They talk about the Aryan race, and that's one of these root races. So if you go back and you actually do a deep dive into the research through a lot of these secret society groups, it always ties back to race, and it always ties back to the occult. And these two things kind of overlap in many ways, and that's why we've had this modern resurgence of all these racial type incidents and these racial type motifs going on in the social programming, because it always invariably ties to this. Because at the end of the day, the people at the top of the power structure, right, these dark occultists that run this place, they're very much obsessed with family bloodlines. And we could trace this going all the way back, even into the book of Genesis in the Bible. And here's what it is in a nutshell. I mean, for time reasons, we probably won't discuss a lot of this today, but these people in positions of power, these dark occultists that run things, they firmly believe that they are of the bloodline of Cain, right? So, and that the rest of the masses, the vast majority of the masses, are of the bloodline of Abel or of Seth, actually, which is Adam's other son that was born after Abel was murdered. And the distinction here being is in the secret society groups, they teach that Cain was the son of Eve and a fallen angel named Samael, whereas Abel or Seth, both of those were the children of Adam. So they believe they have this semi-divine bloodline, and therefore they have the divine right to rule. So, not to get too hung up on those ideas, but I assure you, if you go back and you start digging deep into this stuff, that's what you'll find. And that's what the teachings are. So these people think that they are of a separate lineage than the rest of the masses. Okay. These people in control. So they think they have this semi-divine bloodline, and therefore they have the divine right to rule everybody else. And that's why they act in these different ways. And that's why they're so obsessed with racial profiling of people and stuff like that. That's where all of that comes from. But I know that was kind of a sidetrack and a tangent there. But like some of these ideas are inherently needed to be understood in order to proceed to understand where we've been engineered to on this timeline that we're in.